Well, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz has praised Israel for attacking Iran's nuclear site, saying Israel is doing the dirty work for the West. He spoke on the sidelines of the G7 summit in Canada on Tuesday.
This is the dirty work that Israel is doing for all of us. We're also affected by this regime. This mullah regime has brought death and destruction over the world, with attacks, with killings, with Hezbollah, with Hamas on October the 7th, 2023 in Israel. This would not have been possible without the regime in Tehran. The supplies of drones to Russia from Tehran. Yes, the dirty work that Israel did here. I can only say that I have the highest respect that the Israeli army was courageous enough, that the Israeli government was courageous enough to do this. Otherwise, we possibly would have seen this terror by this regime for months and years, and possibly with a nuclear weapon in their hand.
DW's Matthew Moore joins us with more details from Berlin. Matthew, tell us a bit more about the language Merz is using there and the strategy perhaps he's taking on.
Ben, there's been huge reaction to this use of the word dirty work to describe Israel's attacks on Iran, and that's not least because of the reports of civilian casualties in Iran. This has been making headlines around the world. And it's worth just pointing out that the word dirty work was put to him in a question, and he ran with it. And it's jarring. Here at home, here in Berlin, there's been criticism from figures within his coalition partners, the Social Democrats. Their foreign spokesperson has said that the tone is not helpful at this point. And the reason he's saying that is that, on the one hand, Friedrich Merz is among those saying that there needs to be de-escalation, that there needs to be a focus on diplomacy, and they're saying, how can you be serious about that when you're talking about what's happened here as dirty work. And there's also, just remember, there's all this strong criticism of Israel for its attack, many saying that it's in breach of international law. Now, Friedrich Merz says that he is firmly on the side of Israel, as we've heard, and he says that he takes their assurances that they understand that they were going to be directly attacked by Iran. But many here in Berlin and in Germany would like to see him exhibit more kind of critical distance to Israel and be a bit more reluctant, hesitant, and stand back a bit from Israel in this regard.
Now, the G7 issued a joint statement saying Iran should not be allowed to develop nuclear weapons, but they appear divided on other aspects of this conflict. Walk us through that.
Yeah, there was another interview yesterday that Friedrich Merz gave in which he talked about regime change in Iran, and he almost seemed to welcome it. And he said, and I quote, "It would be good if this government came to an end." Now, that's very different from partners, because at the same time yesterday you had Emmanuel Macron saying that we learned from the histories of Iraq war, of Libya intervention, that regime change can lead to chaos. And so it's quite striking that there is that sharp divide there between those two. The other issue is, again, the big question of the day, Ben, was, is the US going to intervene in this conflict? And we learned that something had changed in the German official position on this issue, and that is yesterday at the same time. Yesterday the foreign minister was asked about this, and he said, I don't think that the United States is going to get involved. And at the same time, Friedrich Merz was giving interviews in Canada where he was learning, he was saying that from his reading of Trump that he really thinks that they are weighing this up. And so there was a slight change there that really you get a sense that Friedrich Merz and the German government believes that it's very likely and very possible that the United States could intervene militarily in this conflict.
DW's Matthew Moore, thank you very much for the analysis.